If you want a beautiful home, you should be planning all these things at the start. I'm sure you've gone into some people's houses, then you're like, oh, then you see the sofa, why so odd? Why the size like wrong? Why the color off? This is because there was no proper planning.
See your colors and textures in person. When it came to like my house wall and paint and the floor, right, I said I see all in person, and I see at night, I see in the day, I see in the afternoon.
Because now, even in renderings, the Commune furniture can be put inside. So we can put whatever that it is here, and then you can actually buy it. We are also offering interior design services now lah.
What's the top 3 areas they should really prioritize on? Hello everyone, and welcome to this special event brought to you by Commune and of course TFC. Right now we are in Commune second floor flagship showroom in Millennial Walk. We are in the middle of a very, very nice setup. A lot of furniture there, a lot of new furniture smell. I always enjoy breathing in the new furniture smell. Last time, I also enjoyed breathing in new car smell, but COE too expensive. So thank you, Commune, for making your furniture relatively affordable. So I still can have that luxury in my life. Now, moving on to today's discussion, renovation is really, I would say, a life-altering decision. You know, I've been through it before. It can be very challenging. Midnight, suddenly wake up. Hey, did that color I select, is it correct or not? Those are the painful moments that sometimes when I think back, it still trigger me, because a lot of things that you've done it, yes, you can repaint it, but every one of us know it's going to be very, very tedious. You're going to move out to a hotel for a few days. Maybe you have to pack certain things. So you want to make sure that it is once and done. So with that, I hope that is something that we can really learn from today's panelists and today's event, how to make sure that you can really maximize your entire renovation experience. Hear from some of the missteps that perhaps our experts here have gone through as a homeowner, as an interior designer. I'll share more about them to you later on, and also what you can really try to take that into your own consideration as you go through your own renovation journey. A bit of Commune, and I think if you can look at all this, they've actually been around for 1970s. Despite how modern all this setup is, they handle everything from design to manufacturing to retail, which means they're not just following trends. Their furniture is really based on decades of understanding what actually works in real home, not just in showroom. That's very important. A lot of time we come to showroom, we think, oh, this one fantastic, grab. Put in your home, then and realize it's a bad mistake. Then you have to carousel it at a loss. So with that, we hope we can also learn from what actually is the key difference and how you can take that into consideration. Let me introduce to you our panel today. This is our renovation reality check team. Of course, people who live through the whole process, design expert, and of course, someone from Commune who thinks about furniture strategy all day. First, maybe let's start with Jasper. We have Jasper at the corner, who is the creative partner at Ascent Design.
Hi guys, so I'm Jasper. So I run Ascent Design, a creative consultancy in Singapore. So we do home design, we do the project, also do creative work.
And of course, next to him will be Natasha Consensuo, who is a content creator and also a homeowner who's been documenting her renovation journey. Natasha, tell us a bit about yourself and where are you on this journey right now?
My name's Nat. I run the account One Rise Please, but recently we just finished our home renovation for our Brutalist Vibes home. So officially, I think I've moved in for about a good solid 2 to 3 months already. Yeah, and Jasper did my house.
Yes.
And of course, representing Commune, we have Shee, the COO of Commune. Shee, you want to share with yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Shee, and I'm the CEO of Commune. And I think Adrian introduced the company right. And we are not just a furniture retailer. Yeah, we actually had end-to-end facilities. We are short of owning the land to harvest the tree only lah. Other than that, we R&D, we produce, and we bring it to the showroom and sell to end users. So why we are different from the rest is because all of our designs are very original. We don't take anybody's design to tweak here a little bit and a little bit there. We are not the cheapest brand. We are the mid and mid-high. Why? Is also because a lot of efforts has been put into selecting the materials. As you can see, a lot of our materials are imported from America, the dark walnut and the white oak, imported marbles and all. So the comparison must be right, so to speak. Yeah. And yes, we started 2011 for the Commune brand. 1970s is where the parent company started. The parent company is called Coda Limited, and we are a listed company in Singapore that does the manufacturing. So Commune is a subsidiary of Coda, and we do retail, wholesale, and franchising. So actually now in the world, we have close to 60 Commune stores. Yeah, Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, Cambodia, India, China, South Korea, and India. And in April, we are opening one in Dubai.
Okay, so our game plan today, we just follow a very natural arc on this renovation journey. Starting from getting your keys to thinking about sitting on your sofa to finally thinking about, okay, we finally survived this. So we'll start with the planning phase, how you turn dreams, your Pinterest board into actual decision. Then we tackle the reality check. Let's start from the homeowner perspective, Natasha. I want to start with you because you've been through this journey most recently. Take us back to the very beginning.
Wow.
When you just collected your keys, with no benefit of hindsight of today, what was going through your mind and what did you actually do first?
Wow, when we first collected our keys, that was like in early 2025. So I feel back then, right, I was filled with so much hope. Yeah, because I was like, I'm going to do all these fancy things to my house because I've been waiting 5 years for my house, guys. I spent 5 years planning for my house. So much so that when I collected my keys, before that, I had already started searching for my ID. I spoke to 8 different designers. Let me tell you, I did the math. Every designer, right, you spend about 3 hours talking to designer. You brief them, then they come back to you with some ideas or quotation, and then the third one is like, you got any changes? On average, right, that means it's 24 total hours that you spend talking to ID. So by collect key at that time, I was in the process, I shortlisted down to 2. I was like, I had a better idea of what I wanted. When I first began the process, right, I wanted like a million different things in my home. And everybody that came back to me with different ideas, right, it was like carpentry, or they had different ideas of what they wanted to do. And it took us, I think, I would like to say, almost 6 months in total, like from meeting people. You don't meet them every day, but right? To settle down on like what exactly could actually be done for the home, and realistically what could fit in like our budget. And I think that's where like Jasper, they all came into play because they were one of the last few people that we spoke to. And it was very difficult for me to find somebody that could understand the vibe that I wanted. Because I wanted something, I'm not the traditional, like I would say the homeowner design. I no wabi-sabi, no Scandi, no mid-modern century. It was like straight up, if you think about my home, it is a futuristic prison cell. Yes, that is my home design.
That's really interesting. Before I go to Jasper to, of course, understand your perspective, I'm really interested to dive a bit deeper into the selection process because it really took a long time. You spent a lot more time talking to designer. Just want to understand what are some of the parameters that you may have set forth. Design, of course, is one thing. But are there certain non-negotiable that you also set forth? Or you don't have this out, you don't have this out?
The way that I weeded out my ideas, right, was that I created a 20-page brief. A bit insane. Jasper saw it. So, and I realized that the minute I sent it to the ID, on my first meeting with you, right, if you didn't read through it, there's a red flag. Number 2, on the first page already, I say, I don't want kids. I'm gonna live in this home forever. And my renovation is budget is blah, 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 blah. And I live on the highest floor. About 2 or 3 different IDs, right? When they first met me, I got to give them a chance. I say, okay, have you had the time to read? If not, I go to review first. Then they say, yeah, I got read. I was like, sweet. Then they immediately ask me after that, so you stay what floor? You want kids or not? What were y'all doing? It's like, it's literally on the first page. It means you didn't even bother to open my document. And I still had to go through review. And then whatever came out after that was very telling that they did not want to listen, or not listen, but they didn't care about hearing me out. And I thought that if I prepare you a brief, it will show that how invested I am in approaching and talking to review. So that was how like I weeded it out. It's very, very much on whether they could listen to you. And then secondly was the ideas that they got back to me. So before we went with Jasper, right, the other people that were very close in the running was another interior designer that followed up very closely with us. So number one, I appreciate that because you need somebody that's going to have very good project management and like that shows like a lot of initiative, and that's very important in the long run. And number three was that he took the time to find out things about me that I didn't reveal to him because I didn't want to tell them like, oh, I'm a content creator, I do. I didn't want them to like treat me any different. But he found out on his own. And he was like, I normally don't use Instagram, but I found out you do this. So I thought you might want this in your house because it might suit your filming style. Then I was like, wow, this guy got like initiative. It's really, really very much like dating. If the guy showed initiative, then he might be the one.
So over to you, Jasper. Is it common for customer to send you a 20-page brief? And what motivated you to read through all of them?
Honestly, I think recent years is getting trendier already. I think because of a lot of like renovation like nightmares, and there are just way too many interior designers out there. And like Nat says, you don't want to spend so many hours telling them, like sharing. So a lot of homeowners now, they just prepare a deck. They write everything like requirements, concept, everything they send over. Some of them still decorate everything very beautiful one. Okay. Then and I think the expectation is really so that we don't waste each other's time. When in the first meeting, instead of me asking you, what is this, what is that, who are you? It's more about asking why. Looking at all these things, I kind of already understand you. It's like what you say, Tinder. I know you like to eat this. I won't bring you to Japanese food if you don't. You already put no Japanese food. You get what I mean? Yeah. So it's more about like, okay, so how do I then fit this into your floor plan? It's more about like getting to know each other deeper instead of wasting the time of what's your name, how are you, sort of things. I think for us, what we are very excited about is more about like we know this person is design centric. We know definitely there's a lot of room to play with, like more interesting new things we can bring.
I'm very certain that 20 pages guide may have evolved along the way because as a homeowner, when I first started this journey many years ago, very idealistic. I want this, I want that. Oh, I saw that in some magazine. I also want that. And oftentimes, I did not even account for the fact that, oh, this one legally cannot have, things like that. So walk us through that first conversation that you have. And also, what are some of the items that may have changed along the way when reality set in? After your detailed review of her 20 pages guide?
After like the first render, right, it didn't change so much, like the layout. But it was like smaller things that changed. Like for example, we couldn't hack the yard door to make a second toilet door, right? And then we changed a little bit of like the position of the bed because we wanted to make more
room
space
for the wardrobe.
Yes. Remember we wanted to have that section where you can hang your clothes where you wear one time but then you haven't washed yet.
Correct.
But we took it away in the end. It will become full wardrobe.
Yes.
Because I got too many clothes. Yeah, that's why.
We really settled on the layout. I think we were quite clear. And then I think what was interesting is because she only has one bathroom in HDB, in the new BTO. So only one bathroom. And then we really tested HDB limits. The submission go up, come down, go up, come down. They were like, what are you trying to do? HDB is just like, what are you trying to do to the house? Like, what is this? Then we have to explain, no, because our homeowners, they only need one bathroom. Oh, they want to change this, or actually they don't need this. Then they were like, oh, okay. So after all the submission went, then it's more of like, we really wanted to hack down a few walls that really then didn't go through. So we had to last minute change okay, then doorway change here. Then the shower, maybe, how about let's do here instead, or sort of things. Then I think it's really details like suddenly, because I think we wanted that full beauty. So Nat has a very beautiful ceiling in her living room, but it was supposed to be a full square. But then there was a beam that came up after we hacked down. There was a beam that couldn't go down. So then it split into two kind of thing. And I think from furniture point of view, she kind of already know I want a huge sofa. Yes, a huge sofa, a huge hosting area. So I think we kind of plan around that. So it's more of like which item then fits in nicely.
So I can really sense a theme here about expectation and reality once you really get into the weeds of it. And from the furniture perspective, Shuan, when do you think typically do you see homeowners start to think about furniture in the planning process?
The furniture should come in the beginning. I think in your 20-page brief, it should be there already. And appreciate the 20-page brief because customer who knows what they want is easier to deal with.
Yes.
Right? Better than you do everything halfway then say, oh, maybe not like that. Want to change. Wow, that's the worst. Because I think Natasha is a bit different. She BTO, but she want to stay there forever. So a lot of Singaporeans now are BTO, wait for MOP 5 years on. Then they buy things or renovate only for that 5 years. Then after that, they will sell and then upgrade and all. So yeah, I think for us as a retailer, it's good. that we can make the money twice. But then again, 5 years, they will not spend so much, right? In renovation and all, as well as in furniture. They probably, the next home, after they upgrade, then they will spend more. But a lot of regular Singaporeans, when they want to do renovation, they engage the ID. I feel and I hear a lot is that loose furniture especially, will be the last thing on their mind. They don't consider it in totality of the design, and they leave it to later on. So they have a renovation budget, then they have a furniture budget. But if they burst the renovation budget, then they will go IKEA lor.
For me, the renovation for doing my house, right, came everything. And so that's why it was like very strange when people say, oh, my reno only 80k, but then actually we spend XXXX more than that. But just when you're doing your whole house, you still need to buy furniture. It's under the same thing. There's no reason to split it. And even when I was planning for my house at the start, I remember part of the 20-page brief was like, I was telling the designers, I might want this light, maybe this table, this table, this table. So that's why when we got our very first render, it was 差不多 around there already. So I think it's also very important to have in mind, because your renovation doesn't just consist of the cupboard you put in where your toilet is going to be, but it consists of like the pieces that you're going to put into your house. Correct. Small things like decor you can think about later, but big things like sofa, dining table, and I think like your desk setups is the parts that will stand out the most in a place.
And I think like, so for a lot of my clients, right, at SM, we always emphasize, do not think of furnitures later. Do not buy ugly furnitures. Because you have to understand, I think a lot of people mistake interior design as just like, do cupboard, paint, then do the floor. Interior design, I think it's not just a home. Of course, there are a lot of companies out there, they just want to take your money and then do one cabinet and then thank you, here's your home, hand over, bye-bye. You get what I mean or not? But I think what is important is, if you want a beautiful home, you should be planning all these things at the start. I'm sure you've gone into some people's houses, then you're like, then you see the sofa, why so odd? Why the size like wrong? Why the color off? Yeah, this is because there was no proper planning.
You all know why? Because you never checked with the ID whether it can or not. I checked with him whether anything can sit in my home first before I buy. My sofa, I take picture, I send 20 times. Like, can or not? They say, maybe this one can, maybe this one can, this one ugly. The minute he say ugly, I don't buy already.
We're quite honest. Like, so usually, like, so Nat was saying, we'll be like,
100%.
I like it, but this is ugly.
I appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this is what all Singaporeans thinking now. Yeah, because why? Because now, even in renderings, right, the Commune furniture can be put inside the rendering. Yeah, so you don't have to, put furniture that you plug from the sky, then after you go and look for it. So we can put whatever that it is here, and then you can actually buy it. So we are moving in this direction. We are already in this direction. We are also offering interior design services now lah. So for us, I think it's very focused. Because, having our store here and, the customers that come into Commune, then you agak-agak know their kwan, their style and all. So it definitely has to suit our concept or our design. Then they will step in and then they will ask for consultation and all. So we are very focused in this direction rather than, I want to come in and do Italian style. We are like, we are not that. We're just not that. So we cannot force ourselves to do that lah.
I think whichever theme or concept that you have, one common thread is there's a budget involved lah. Let's then move on to everyone's favorite topic, which is money. Natasha, I want to understand. I can tell you quite plan things out nicely, but still, were there any biggest hidden or unexpected costs that caught you off guard, and how do you deal with it?
I had to discuss this question with my husband, because when it comes to the saving money,
she don't know. She just goes and she just, I want this, I want this, I want this. Then he'll say, I don't care, I want. Then husband over there will, how much are we looking at?
you know who's the biggest hidden cost? Me.
Yeah, this is the hidden cost. She's the hidden cost.
Husband, please come. How do you deal with this?
When we were finally doing things, the two biggest items I think for us were like a whoa was our wardrobe doors. Because we wanted something
Wardrobe
different.
doors.
The wardrobe doors were expensive, and our feature wall was expensive.
Yes.
Everything in my house is expensive, but these two were the most expensive.
Yes, everything in her house. Her lights itself was everything she want. I will ask her, are you sure? I say I think we are spending a lot of money here and there already. What is your priority? She tell me, my priority is everything.
Yeah, if I'm going to stay here forever, shouldn't everything be the priority?
Yeah.
The mindset correct or the mindset correct?
Correct.
Correct.
So normally, I would say I think a lot of hidden costs, I would say, come from unexpected things. Unexpected things, I think, of course, when, for example, you are expecting this kind of design, your designer showed you this kind of design, but then suddenly they tell you, but the quotation did not include this design. So that is a design hidden cost. Okay, but usually I would say it is more about like things you want to add on. For example, some people surprisingly still don't know that lime wash paint is expensive. Nowadays, textured walls are expensive, sort of thing. So I think those were a few things that people will add. That comes as shocker lah.
That was the wall for us because the feature wall was something we decided almost like midway when we were deciding what to do. We changed the wall design. So the minute you kind of deviate from your original plan or design, right, costs tend to inflate a little bit because of all the changes that we need to account. That's why when we did like our textured paint for our feature wall, that's when like costs had to go up a little bit more. And the one thing people don't think about, right, storage boxes. Let me tell you, when I was moving in, right, I need to organize everything. Nobody think about how much storage boxes you need to buy.
That's interesting. And Jasper, you've probably seen this play out dozens of times. Outside of Natasha, because she seems like a very meticulous homeowner, what are some of the... When first-time homeowner come to you, are there common misconception that they usually would have about designing their place?
The misconception is they would think that like they say, renovation, design, it starts when the hacking starts, when the key collection that I start, then design starts. But actually, there's a lot of pre-planning that is supposed to be in place. So a lot of times we actually recommend if you are collecting your keys, you should be already looking for a designer 3 to 6 months prior to that. Because when you start, you want to start. Yeah, I think that because if you don't do that, when you start, your project is going to be a lot longer because you are going to still be deciding on a lot of things. Then because you don't decide on this, that cannot move on, then you'll just drag on. Yeah, so actually that's the misconception. People think that design means, okay, I today meet you, okay, see you tomorrow for the rendering. Next week you'll be ready, sort of things. So I mean, maybe you'll find a designer out there, but for us, we really prioritize a lot about like designing things properly. And people think that it's just like, oh, very easy. Some I'm not saying it's wrong, but some people, you go there, they show it on the spot draw for you, your sofa, your cabinet, all this sort of things. So maybe they are really quick, but I feel that design itself, you need to really consider the all-rounders, all-pointers. You really need to understand, like, I mean, since you're at a furniture shop, for example, some people, they have the existing furniture. Like maybe they bought expensive Commune sofa last time, very nice. They want to bring to the new house also.
Because it's long-lasting.
Long-lasting Commune furniture. Yes.
Thank you. So, buy new one better.
Okay, yeah. Then maybe you want to buy a new one. But for example, they really don't want to buy a new one because they, so we have to plan around it also. So all these sort of things, for example, some people want to bring in a piano, some people want to bring in like this and that. You also want to be future planning, kids planning, pets planning, in-laws coming in, sort of things. So I think that's the kind of thing you want to go for.
And for someone who works with a very tight budget, which in reality, in today's time, is almost everyone. What's the top 3 areas they should really prioritize on? And what can they safely scale back on later on without regrets?
I think mainly what you know is spend on things that are hard to change and then save on things that you can change easily. So for example, I think it's dependent on the houses you have. Of course, if you buy a condo, you buy sort of things. So a lot of people actually nowadays, because people change houses so often, things are still relatively new. So you can actually not remove everything. Yeah. So actually a lot of people also don't understand that hacking. If you buy a house, if the house comes with many things, be prepared to spend a lot of money taking them away. Okay, try to buy an empty house if you want to do an overhaul. Okay, so I think also you should be focusing on things that are very important. For example, your kitchen, your bathrooms. Okay, honestly, if you ask me, just these 2 things are very important. Just these 2 things. Everything else, especially when clients come to us and then they tell us, we really want a beautiful home, but our budget is really very tight. So for this type of scenario, really, I mean, not just because I'm in Commune, but for this kind of clients, we usually tell them spend on beautiful furnishing. You can walk in, you can see a very beautiful furnished home, very beautiful styled home. It doesn't cost you anything. You walk in doesn't mean shoe cabinet built in, TV console built in, like everything built in. Doesn't have to be built in. I mean, of course, your kitchen cabinet has to be built in. That's why I tell you that's very important. Okay, your bathroom has to be nicely done. Your shower mixers, you have to spend on it because if not, you don't have lousy shower mixers. But sofa, dining table, all that you can shop, you can put together something nicely styled. It still be a beautiful home.
I feel like you should spend your money, right, on the places where you're going to spend the most time. So for me, right, where we put a lot of thought into was number one, bedroom, living room, and toilet.
Shivan, before I come to you on furnishing, I want to just understand a bit more from Natasha on your side. Looking at back on your journey, and please be brutally honest, and Jasper, please cover your ears. Is there any one single decision you would absolutely not repeat if you can do this all over again?
I think it was a constant mistake on my end was that, and I now tell this to everybody, you're already going to do your home or not do your home, right? Is that number one, right? See your colors and textures in person. I think that is super important because, right, and it's for any ID because your IDs can send you, hey, I got this color, right? Which one you like? Then you see like, oh, this one grey, white, black, whatever. Then you say, okay, take the grey lah. And then when you come in person, then like the grey, a bit off because by the time it comes into your home, right, by the time you put up on the wall already, maybe the light in your house a bit different. Maybe because of your toilet not as bright or as dark as you think, then the color looks a bit more yellow, the color looks a bit more dark. So it's so important. And then like this way they get you, right? They get you to pick the color on the spot, right? It's because they tell you, oh, the sample, right, will only come in 1 or 2 weeks time. Can you wait or not? Then you think, I trust the picture, right? Don't. Never trust the picture. Go and see, wait for the sample. And I think it happened across like our toilet. I think like
the toilet. Definitely. I was thinking the toilet.
The toilet color, I would have changed it. And like my door color came a different color because the salesperson that sent me the color was also a different color when it came in real life. So I was like, why this mistake keep happening? So I didn't take the chance. And when it came to like my house wall and paint and the floor, right, I said I see all in person and I see many, many times. I see at night, I see in the day, I see in the afternoon. That's the number one thing that only went wrong in my house and caused me so much headaches because I just did not see things in person.
I love that. I have a real estate friend who always tell me, when you go see a new place, don't just go at the timing the agent tell you. You need to go at odd timing so you can hear the crazy neighbor, you can hear the aeroplane fly over, and then ask yourself if you're comfortable with that. Shivan, over to you. So when your team meets new homeowners who are trying to work within a budget,
right,
what are some of the common anxieties or problems they share about furnishing their space?
For our customer that comes into Commune and asks us, I think their biggest concern is budget. I have a client that has a budget of 50 to 80K. They left their contact and all, but the next time when they contacted our team, they say, I think better not, I withdraw. I think my budget too low for you. Then I'm like, huh? No, we can cover any budget. Yeah, so I think for us, we try to mitigate, their anxiety and all. I feel interior designing of somebody's home is a very personal and intimate thing. They have to share with you about their lifestyle. Are they going to have kids? And is your mother or mother-in-law going to come and stay with you? Things like that. Every day, are you going to cook? What time are you going out? This and that. So this is how you design the interior based on their lifestyle. I would say for us, it's more about very functional, and then to cater for the person's lifestyle. And of course, we will have to respect what they want in terms of their design and all. But I think most important aspect of things is how to make the space suited or amplify their lifestyle, rather than they come in with some weird designs and all. I mean, every budget has got ways of doing like what Jasper has suggested. Don't do so much. I mean, buy more loose furniture, put in, style it nice, style it well, then it's a nice home already. And of course, we are also always pushing sustainability in the current years. And then, loose furniture you can sell, you can bring when you sell your home. I mean, built-ins are not that it's not good lah. Singapore house very small, you got to have built-in for storages. That one we all understand. But the lesser the built-in, the lesser waste you are going to create. I think mainly not anxiety and problems lah. But when a customer relate this to us, it becomes our problem. And we have to find a way to overcome this lah.
And the $1 million question, and hopefully less than $1 million, for anyone working with a fixed budget, how should they then prioritize in terms of the sequencing? Do you look at sofa first, bed first, dining, storage? Is there any smart way to do the sequencing?
If you prioritize, I believe where you spend the time most. Or do you entertain your friends a lot in the living room? Then you should prioritize your living room, your sofa. Or do you work from home all the time? Then you have to have a small corner that is your working space. Then you spend that appropriate amount of investment into that area that you spend most of your time lah. I mean, it's everybody wants to pamper themselves, especially after COVID. Everybody's mindset changed a little here and there. So to prioritize all this, I believe that it depends on what the customer want and how the customer use the space. Yeah. If they don't like to entertain one, no friend coming one, don't watch TV, then okay lah, you chincai buy one sofa set can. Yeah. But you work from home every day, then you got Zoom and all, then of course, your study room got to be nicer lah. Make it look good, even with the background and all. So it depends on each individual needs of the customer. There's ways to expand all the budget and there's ways to minimize the budget.
And Jasper, would you agree with that prioritization, or do you see things differently from a design perspective?
Honestly, everything is very dependent on the client and the type of home. Yeah, so like I said, depends on the home that you've gotten. Then we'll see what to work with, and then we can see how we can prioritize the budget on things that definitely have to be done, and then things that we can then add on. So we usually prioritize functionality first, like you said, things that are must do, like those very basic things like waterproofing got problem or not, your earth got problem or not, floor got problem or not, then all that. Okay, good already. Then we see how much budget we have. Then we will focus. If you have that much money, the budget is bigger. We focus on things that will be very much value adding. If not, then we'll look at what can we work with in terms of styling or furnishings. Yeah.
Let's move on to talk more about the furniture that everyone is enjoying here right now. As mentioned earlier on, Commune controls everything from design to manufacturing. Enlighten us. How does that upstream, downstream integration actually benefit the end users, actually benefit homeowners?
One is definitely the original design. We launched twice every year. And it is something that, is so unique that when you go around looking for price comparison and that you cannot find. So eventually you got to come back to me. Second is that, of course, we are always here and listed company in Singapore. For end users, definitely if you have problems, if you need to solve any, after sales issues and all, we are always here. And we have all the materials. We will not tell you, oh no lah, this one very difficult. We don't have the spare part. We don't have the wood. We don't have this, don't have that. We are the manufacturer. So we supposedly have everything to, take care of any issues, as well as you can be guaranteed the make of the product, the construction and all, be safe, and sustainability. All the material that we use, and very important one is now a lot of Singaporeans is looking into the indoor air quality. So it's the VOCs and formaldehyde emission. So what we are having, all our furniture here, you say smell new furniture, right? Actually, the new comes from the leather. The furniture no smell. We are using a lot of E1 standard materials in our furniture pieces, even down to our finishes and the solvent used on the furniture. So it's low lead content as well as low formaldehyde emission. So these are all at the level that is non-cancer causing. So it's very good for family, pregnant women or kids. This is something that Commune doesn't really shout out. Maybe because our parent company has all along been on this standard for the American market and all the European market, that for us, it become like a daily thing. It's a must-have. So we don't really shout. When we do shout out, the fear is that, wow, this standard very high, it must be very expensive. Then you become backfire. But then now I think the NEA is taking this into consideration, the indoor air quality. So I think it's time that, we can amplify this.
I mean, surely there would be some premium to it because these are additional ingredients and all that. But I think what many homeowners may oversee a lot of time is because these are things they cannot see or hear. Because of that, people tend to neglect. Like for example, I mean, there are furniture, a lot of people will just go Taobao, right? Taobao everything. And a lot of all this furniture actually does not even consider our climate. And it
Right,
starts to
right.
break down almost the same day it arrives at your place. I personally made a mistake when I was painting my place. I was offered the option to do anti-mould paint. I'm like, no need lah, won't kena one lah. Wow, kena bad time, man. So it was so bad, all of us got to go for a 3-day vacation so that everyone, and we got to unpack everything. And the worst thing is, for those of you who are looking into this, the mold will also permeate into your clothing. So all the clothes, all got to rewash. Over and above us moving out for 3 days so that the painter can come in to clean it, paint over, and then double paint and all that. So these are things that I believe a lot of people sometimes oversee, just like, the importance of having all those crucial component or lack of those bad component within furniture itself.
Simply put it, if you've been to a newly renovated place or home, you go in, then your eyes start irritating, tearing. That's formaldehyde. And when you breathe in that too much, is cancer causing. Yeah.
Natasha, I'd like to go over to you to understand your thought process when it comes to choosing certain furniture. I do understand earlier on, it appears everything is based on the price tag. Very certain there are some functional perspective to it because it can't be just, expensive for the sake of expensive. So how do you decipher what should be something that you don't mind spending a bit more on because it's long term versus what should be the functional stuff?
Spending a bit more on, I would say for me personally, is sofa because it's where I take a lot of my midday naps. It's where we host a lot of friends. It's where my husband will sleep when I'm angry at him. It's where my mother-in-law will come over and sit down. So for us, it's a very, very well-used piece of furniture. And then where is things are more functional, so since it's not as aesthetic, is then maybe study table. That one nobody see. Then I don't care. Yeah. Or let's say things for us, we don't cook as much in our kitchen. So our kitchen appliances and all that, not so fancy. But it's for example, I until now, right, I haven't changed my pot and pans, all this. So I still use it from my rental home and it's from Daiso. My $2 frying pan. And I have been using one singular knife. I don't have more than one knife in my house. I only have one knife. Because I just lazy to buy another one. For me, it's a knife is a knife. But things like sink tab, right? I've heard so many horror stories where, and I've seen the videos, okay, where people buy the Taobao, the tab that can like piano key like that, can turn on very... And 1 year later, I saw the review. It's falling apart. It's rusting. So I say, this one cannot. Use every day. You press on and off every day, right? Must be good one. Must be good one. So things, I also really believe in a very good quality bed because you spend literally half your life on it. Yeah. So very important, for me, bed and sofa, non-negotiable.
So basically anything that you interact with on a regular basis.
100%. It's that's where it breaks down the most. Things like your coffee table or shelvings are a little bit more forgivable because they are a little bit more aesthetic or decorational pieces where you can get a little bit more funky with it. You just put your stuff there, then you don't move already.
Now, I want to move on to the sizing of furniture because Singapore, most of us would stay in HDB, and HDB, as time progresses, getting smaller and smaller lah. So size is always a huge constraint for many of us, as much as we impressed by what we see online and all that. Jasper, I want to understand from a design perspective, how do you advise clients to think about furniture in small Singapore spaces?
It has to be thought about while you are thinking about the design. Yeah, so I think obviously if the space is not huge and then you tell us, you have a big family who always comes over, sort of thing. So we do want to try to plan for a bigger sofa space, but I think a lot of times your designer should be able to advise based on how things look. I mean, yes, the sofa can fit in, but your house will look a lot smaller, for example, So I think the ratio of things needs to be considered. So a lot of our clients, we usually tell them, so when planning all this stuff layouts and everything, we'll say, okay, you know what? Shopping is one of the greatest pleasure of, doing home renovations, the joy of touching furniture, sit on this, sit on that, all sort of things. Go and do it, but window shop. Do not confirm anything until your designer gives you the green light because the color might be off, the texture might be off, and most importantly, the size might be off. Yeah, so just snap a photo of the thing, show the specs, then your designer should be able to advise whether it works. Because sometimes you love this sofa, beautiful. You love that dining table, beautiful. But it's shopping. I mean, girls understand lah. You buy a very beautiful top, you buy a very beautiful bottom, but you put together, it's ugly. You get what I mean? So sometimes you need to see this, and okay, like it's not your job. It's your designer's job, and sometimes the furnishing shop, they will be able to advise for you, like, this is beautiful on its own, but it cannot be together with that particular item because it will clash.
And Shee, for someone planning to renovate, at what point in time should they start engaging with a furniture brand like yourself? Pre-reno, during, after? When is the right time for them to start the conversation?
For them to start is right at the beginning, when they have a design concept of their home. And if you are talking about HDB, BTO, I think HDB will disagree with you when you say their flat getting smaller and smaller. Sure, confirm disagree one. Anyway, this is something that we cannot
They will
fight
have some
on.
mathematics to prove me wrong.
Yeah, definitely. They really proven me wrong. But anyway, I think BTO, HDB is a very templatized things. The TV must be there because the plug already put there. The sofa must be there. The bed is there, because the TV plug already on that wall. Sometimes we also feel that in HDB, a lot of things very difficult to change. And if you want to really change the layout, it takes a lot of work, a lot of renovation work to be said. So if you have a design concept in mind and you have a budget, I think it is best to start the conversation early and budget it in the whole concept. Because ID actually not only the design of the house, the customized cabinetry that you guys want, as well as the loose furniture. Even the appliances like ceiling fan, where you want to put your TV, everything you have to design in that whole plan already. Because you also need to know where the socket, the power plug is. When you start that concept, start putting the furnitures in, start budgeting for the furniture so that your budget looks more wholesome. Don't wait until, this one finished already, then there's another budget for something else, there's another
It
budget
should
for
be
something
all
else.
together.
All together, yeah. So I think nowadays, for Jasper, I think can put everything together. You help people source or not for furniture?
Yeah, we do a lot of furniture sourcing, curtains, everything.
Yeah, so actually that budget can be all lumped together. Yeah, if for us, when we deal with customer, we tend to want to sell our loose furniture as well. So the customized ones, the design of the whole spatial environment, as well as loose furniture, we will put everything in one budget. So that, again, it's within the budget of the customer. And we believe that in this way, the customer has less worry that they have to spend more later on.
And last question before we open it up to all our engaged audience here. If you have to name one mindset shift that helps people make better renovation and furnishing decision, what would it be?
Expectations, guys. I think you need to understand what you're expecting, and then you need to translate this to your designers, to anybody. You buy lights or what, your expectations. You need to make sure your expectations match. Okay, because sometimes maybe you have these expectations. You must understand that people are designers, they're not magicians. So I think expectation is very important. Okay.
Thank you so much. Natasha?
I think it's ask and double check. Number one, right, there is never a stupid question, especially if you're on the home renovation journey. You're like, this style color look nice, just ask. This one, the plug will be where? Just ask. You're not sure, just ask. And if you, better yet, anything that you're not sure about, or not sure if your ID has covered, or not sure when you're going to get back to you, you just ask.
Don't assume.
不要 assume.
Shee.
For me, it's you have to know what you want. Don't follow trend, because trend go up, come down. So don't follow trend. The best is to suit your lifestyle, suit what you want. And one more thing is, maybe before you engage an ID, maybe you and your partner or your family should have a discussion on how you want to do your house, especially for those people living in that space. Make sure you all have to come to a consensus on a few things.
Correct. Sometimes we are not your therapists.
Yeah, one, consensus on your budget. Number two is who is calling the shots. The man can be paying but if you let the wife be the calling the shots, then also okay But then you must be clear. Don't say this one I want. Then the partner say don't want. Then how?
At our company, every day after a meeting, I ask my designer, so who's in charge? Then they'll, I think this one.
It's difficult. It's very difficult. And you don't want to spoil the relationship with your IDs, because this person knows your in and outs. then he's doing your whole house. So I think this kind of consensus must be, you must get this consensus first within your family members before you decide to do anything with the IDs. Yeah.
And be wary of armchair critics who will not be living in your space lah. Because they have a lot of comment on, hey, this one not nice lah, you should do this, you should, I saw it on Instagram. But they don't care. It's not their place. If you screw it up, they don't have any meat in the game.
They're not there, man.
So brilliant. These are exactly the kind of insights that I believe everyone wants to hear. So next up, let's bring in the questions. Anyone want to have any questions?
My name is Jim. I'm turning citizen soon. I'm planning to buy a resale house instead of waiting for BTO. Is there a difference for ID side to look into resale, like people already design, people already buy furniture and so on that? What should I expect or what should I prepare when I come to you?
Actually, a lot of clients like this, right? We actually provide a service of pre-home consultations. So actually, you come to us, you tell us what is your budget, comfortable budget, what's your concept, and then actually we will recommend the kind of layout suitable for you. And then you can also bring to us, for example, like 4 homes you shortlisted. We'll tell you which houses you should stay away from, which houses you should buy. Yeah, for everyone out there, I think that is very important. Even my own sister, she decided not to listen to me because she thinks like, never mind, my brother is a magician. She loves an open concept kitchen. Then she went to buy a house where the bomb shelter was blocking the kitchen. And she assumed that the bomb shelter can be moved. It is very important to, if you are not comfortable speaking to a designer, stranger, you can ask around, look at more homes, look at how it's being, the layout is being used and what do you want.
Wow, you give consultation on which home to buy, which house to buy, property to buy. Wow.
At the start, no, but more and more homeowners, they are more unsure.
Asking,
and because, like I said, when they buy a house, they don't know what they are jumping into.
Right.
And sometimes like the house, I always tell them, if you go inside a house you want to buy, right, it's a resale home, right, if you smell fresh paint, right, something is wrong. If not, they go and paint so nice for what? To sell the house. I mean, not all lah. Okay, I'm just saying. Okay.
When I sold my place, my agent also go and do a lot of staging one. Yeah, a lot of wayang one. Well, come in, aircon on, then got the yellow light, going got candle lit and all that.
Yeah, but it's a sales thing, like you know. If it's looks more presentable, you are more likely to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to ask, what are the critical periods that you need to be down to monitor the renovation? Because I heard that there are always like some miscommunication during the renovation where the vendors come in to install the tiles or like painting or like carpentry. So I just want to know that like critical period, do you need to be down like every week or like every fortnightly, this kind of stuff?
You want to try?
That's a great question because I thought that I wouldn't need to be down very often. But number one, I film content. So that means every section of the house that happened, I would prefer to be down so I could film it. But if I didn't do content, right, my advice to you is be down for everything. Every single thing that they come in to hack something, and they like finishing that time or they're gonna start, you just come down and check. So you see with your own 2 eyes first whether you're happy that they hack this wall, whether you're happy that they lay this tile properly. And I think it's very important for the electrical stage when you're planning your like where you want to put the power point. So it's better to see it physically in person after you've already done like an on-paper assessment. After they painted the house, tiled the house, you also come down and see. Basically as much as possible. Don't cannot say that I don't trust your ID, but 你要靠自己. You know what I mean?
Yes, and sometimes because, you know, like there could be miscoms between hopefully not ID and homeowner. There'll be miscom between ID and the contractor boss. Then miscom between contractor boss and the contractor. Then some things might just happen. And then for example, that is a very good question because honestly, like it's some homeowners don't even go down. Some homeowners go down every day. But I think at the very end of it is, I think the working relationship with your ID has to be there. Hopefully it doesn't boil down to you have to go because you have to you don't trust your ID, you have to check, kind of things. Yeah, you go down really is because sometimes you do see something because you are looking at your own house. You are very meticulous about everything. You see something, then okay, it's nice that you highlight like, hey, I think this is that, kind of thing. But definitely I would think it's very good for you to go down when the main stage, tiling and carpentry. These two are very big things where I think it is also good to be around because sometimes contractors, when they see homeowner around, then they more wayang, sort of things. Yeah.
During the hacking stage, it's about once a week. Then there's a bit of a delay before your carpentry comes in. So then that part you can rest a bit. Because confirm nothing going on. Then no point for you to go.
Correct.
And then during the carpentry and the tiling part is where everything suddenly jam-packed together. about once a week or during that stage, once every twice a week, you go down just to have a look, see whether you're happy with things. Cause right, at that point in time, right, if you say later you cannot change, you say now still can change.
Correct.
Don't regret. Just ask only.
I think a lot is communication with your ID lah. Just lay out the cards and tell your ID when something major is going to start or going to complete or midway, let you know, then you go down and take a look.
It's very important to request for a combined site visit. Yeah, so I think, go down yourself can also, but I think it's more important if you do a combined site visit. Like, tell the designer, you want to be open, you want to do a combined site visit, you want to not just like take a photo here, tiling done. You want to be able to go down the site, walk through, look at the tiling, if any questions you ask, then they answer. That'll be great.
It's a huge investment, so you got to just go and see it.
Just now mentioned about tiling, right? Actually, how do you choose tiles appropriately? I went down to look at tiles. There are so many formats, 60 by 60, 900 by 900. I'm a bit confused as to what should I look out for when I'm choosing tiles.
There are many things to consider. First, look at the concept you're going for. Certain concept requires certain kinds of textures, certain kind of colors. Okay, and also it depends on what kind of things you're comfortable with. I think when you look at the size is one thing that a lot of people are asking. So usually what's quoted out there is like 600 by 600. Okay, that's a normal size tile. Okay, so for people who want to have less grout lines, they want to have make their space look bigger, they usually opt for a bigger size tile. But this is when, of course, budgeting comes in. If you want things to go bigger or smaller than 6 by 6, you are looking at a much higher labor cost. So the tile price itself also, when you search around, right? Okay, look at the price. If you are quite price conscious, you should be looking at something along the lines of $3 to $4. That's the usual quote nowadays. If anything jumps, right, okay, just for the back of your mind, you understand if it's $8, you should say 8 minus 4 is $4 times the square feet of your house area you're using. That's the amount you should be prepared to top up. But labor costs, you all should be looking at around 20-30% jump. But design-wise, if you ask me, of course, a large format tiles would be very beautiful, but you have to also look at it. It shouldn't be used on bathroom floorings because of your water leveling. It also wouldn't make sense for you to use it in bedrooms, or if your living room is only about 100 plus square feet, 200 square feet. Especially if you're going to throw on a beautiful rug and then you're going to buy a nice sofa, all these things will be covered. So usually for large format tiles, we usually recommend for larger HDBs or like landed homes. Yeah, because you can really see what you're paying for.
One thing I have to recommend that I only learned about when we went to see tiles together is that different tile, right, have different like roughness. So only certain tile you can use for your bathroom.
Yeah, so also because if you are a young family, you're planning to have like babies, kids and everything, you do have to take note. A lot of tiles, right, are actually not very baby friendly because babies tend to crawl, they tend to slide against the tile. Then you might get abrasions. And also if you are looking to have a family, small tiles, mosaic tiles are more prone to leakages because they are small, they will unbalance a bit. Then when they're not very balanced, right, it'll be a bit more sharper. Yeah, so these are things that you need to look out for.
Just wondering, normally, typically, if you want to apply or you use paint, do you use it in the ceiling of the toilet or throughout the entire house? Anti-mould paint.
Oh, anti-mould. They did it on the wall as well as the ceiling. Basically, wherever there's paint, it's painted over, even within the cupboard itself, because the cupboard is built in. So it's basically just an area and then you have a sliding door, right? So even inside that wall also got to paint because the mold will also go there.
Basically everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah,
okay.
basically everywhere.
Usually recommended in wet areas, for example, bathrooms. But in Singapore context, especially nowadays the weather, it's best to do anti-mold paint. And usually when you get painters anywhere, they should do 2 coats of painting minimally, base coat and final coat. And base coat should be done with the anti-mold because after your carpentry go up, all this space cannot paint already. And if the mold comes out between your wall, the wall between your bathroom and your wardrobe also say bye-bye. Anti-mold, it's a lot more recommended than antibacterial nowadays. Because if you look at Nippon, they got anti-mold, antibacterial, anti-many things. Okay.
In Singapore climate, not to say the paint, right? Even our furniture, the treatment of the wood, also anti-mold.
There's also maintenance that was taught by the painter. So right now, because when we sleep, we on the aircon. So when we turn it off, last time I just opened the door. But that's the biggest mistake because your wall will start condensation and that's how it actually encourages mold. So right now the door remains closed. I have a dehumidifier turned on. to absorb all the water until I think it reaches the right temperature. Then I open the door and the fan, the air circulation must permanently be on.
Some clients, they think that there's something wrong with the paint, but sometimes it's really the lifestyle. Yeah, so you just need to be very careful with it also.
I think you also need to take note if you like live near like Longkang Reservoir, near like coastal
If you're the East
side.
Coast area, get ready. Get ready. Mold will be one of the biggest problems. Yeah.
You know, these days, the BTO kitchen is a bit small, right? Do you have any advice as to homeowners that are indecisive whether, you know, to have an open kitchen or closed concept kitchen?
I would say like for me, after leaving, because my house is not considered open kitchen, but I don't have a door to my kitchen. And I realized that the smell, right, can travel into the house. So the minute you fry like bacon, you fry your kailan, whatever, right, sure got smell. Must faster turn on like all your fan lah, the air purifier come out. And I was like, okay, if you have an open kitchen, right, you confirm everything, your sofa all gonna smell. 100%. And it's a big consideration.
Yes. So the advice nowadays usually is to do an open/closed kitchen where you can have the option to open it up, and even when you close it, you should still be able to see light and everything coming through.
This is more about formaldehyde in furniture. So I understand that nowadays there's quite a lot of people who buy from Taobao and all that. How do we select furniture that doesn't have this formaldehyde? And also if currently our house already has this formaldehyde inside, how can we remove that?
Unfortunately, Singapore doesn't have any mandate on formaldehyde imports from overseas. Countries in the first world country like Korea, Japan, and the US, and even Europe, they have a standard called the E1 standard, or in the US it's called the CUP P2 standard. That means the formaldehyde must be of a certain level, and we as manufacturer, we have to show certain certificates. Then we can export and they import in. From China, I cannot, like you say you buy from Taobao, right? I cannot say will have or will not have. Maybe there's some good vendors that also follow the standard. There are some vendors that sell you cheap things that formaldehyde emission is very high. So best is to go to a physical shop lah, to experience it, smell it, touch it, understand from the salespeople whether they have any standards or not, and whether they can show you any certification or not. Yeah, that would be the best lah, best assured. And if you happen to buy furniture with probably a more inferior material that has some formaldehyde emission, the best thing to do is really to open your home, let it air. But then the problem with formaldehyde is it's always there one. It's just emitting. When the temperature is higher, it emits a lot. When the temperature is cooler, it emits lesser. But for your lifetime, it's always there. It just gets lower and lower and lower over time only. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, you never know. So the best is don't buy lah. Don't buy furniture with formaldehyde.
But it's a bit hard to avoid because like all new houses confirm will have formaldehyde. So besides, but you open your cupboards and all that for 1 week plus, which is like the recommended thing to do, I actually opted for formaldehyde cleaning in my house. And I think that if you have already like your built-in furnitures, they can also clean it for you. So like the dangerous degree, I think it was like 0.6. But after we did the cleaning within 1 day, it went down to 0.005. Because 0.6 is like hazardous.
Of course, we have a lot of options. Say, for example, my house, I'm going to have an open concept kitchens. And also, I'm also a little bit more practical on costs, on what we should spend, what we should not. Because I know biggest cost is carpentry is one of them. And also wall, especially the feature wall and also feature cabinet. I would like to get some pointer in a way that what should we or how should we minimize the cost or make it a little bit more cost effective in a way that I should not try to do too much things. Or like what are the cost measure that you can give me an advice in order to reduce total cost?
I think a feature wall could come from many different things. It could be a paint, it could be a painting. It's just a nicely decorated wall that is the feature of that place. Making a house functional, of course, that one aside, okay, to make it beautiful, a lot of styling is needed. Okay, a lot of styling in the sense, and styling is not just like a very beautiful wall lamp. Okay, for example, like a sofa is also part of styling. How is the sofa shaped? It has to be shaped to your space. How the sofa's size is supposed to be sized to your wall. You get what I mean? To the space also. So I think that when we talk about cost effectiveness, really look at it. Speak to your designer, speak to yourself, speak to your family. What is essential? the cost goes there. What is we want it to be more beautiful. How then you look at channeling this cost into something that's also an alternative to put it together.
We also have one concern. When we look at our house is a resale flat. The wall, the old HDB wall are not even. There's a lot of thoughts. Say some people, you do wall. Lime wash, I say, is very expensive. So I want to find those alternative, cost-effective ways, or to do it at a lower cost, or to not to overspend for that. Another thought is like just leave it or try to make it like say wabi-sabi style. You leave it as a defect.
Yeah.
So all these thoughts. Maybe if you can advise on that particular part, it will be much appreciated.
So your question is the walls are uneven, and you don't think you want to spend on making it textured lime wash, and you want it to look more beautiful.
To put it simply, you look at my showroom here. I don't do a lot of built-in, but we try to create the environment that is styled. You can see you can put mirrors, you can hang, wall arts. You can do some shelving like this, and because showroom very expensive, then we don't want to spend so much. Also, I'm like you also. So what we do, we put wallpaper. And this is not even a painting; it's just a wallpaper. So I can change it. Next year, I change it again.
Yeah, that's also my consideration. Is it expensive?
Okay, wallpapers can also become very expensive.
Yeah. Especially the good one, because your wall uneven, right? The good one expensive.
About the priority, you ask yourself, does the uneven walls make you uncomfortable? Do you feel like your house is not complete? Then if you strongly feel so, then you ask yourself, if I put decor around it, will I still be staring at the uneven walls or the decor? What is the issue here? Then you can know whether you want to spend that $5,000 or not.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your patience. I know we can probably go for another hour, but I'm conscious of your time. It's Saturday afternoon, and the fact that you all can't wait to smell all the leather smell in this Commune showroom. Okay. So let me just distill to a few takeaway for everybody. Firstly, I think really design for how you actually live, not for the Instagram photo. I learned of this saying recently. If you can choose to buy between an entry-level BMW and a top-range Toyota, the top-range Toyota will give you utility. The entry-level BM give you status. So you have to decide what you actually want in life. Budget for the unexpected usually is not a matter of if but when. And also think about your furniture early in the process. Don't make it a last-minute scramble. Sometimes even if you come to Commune and beg Shuwen here, he may not have stock. The item also out, then how? Yeah, so do engage your furniture vendor much earlier in the whole process. And also to add, this conversation, of course, will be available as a podcast episodes in coming weeks. So follow TFC, the Financial Coconut, Commune on social media to catch it. Plus, of course, we'll be sharing clips and additional resources. Huge thanks to all our panelists here, Jasper, Natasha, Shuwen, for your amazing insights. And of course, to Commune for hosting us in this beautiful place. And genuinely caring for homeowners to help them navigate this occasionally very emotional journey. I remember all the arguments I had with my wife over walls, over paints. Very stupid one, but it is what it is. And of course, the team will be here a bit for a while, look at catalogs, bring your own floor plan, talk to Commune consultants if you want to. Importantly, to reiterate, there's a contest of two $500 voucher waiting for you. All you have to do is take picture of this session. I hope you already did. Put on Instagram, tag Commune and TFC. Commune and TFC will go through their favorite, and once it's selected, we'll reach out to you or DM you, and then you're the winner. Again, remember the terms and conditions that was mentioned earlier on. And of course, there's this QR code behind me, which you can use straight away. Valid for 6 months. So do take a picture of this in case you may want to use it over the next 6 months. Otherwise, safe travel home. And remember, your dream home is absolutely achievable. It just may look a bit different from your Pinterest board, but it's totally okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.